Today's podcast is sponsored by Genesis, the most comprehensive and complete education for pool professionals. The Genesis Career Pathway for Pool Builders and Design Professionals puts your team on the right track to become masters of their trade.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast. Today I'm chatting with Jim Dorsey, Director of Sales with Kayden Manufacturing. Pleased to have you with us on the show today, Jim.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Now, I've seen pictures of your product, and I even know a few people who've used it and took pictures on their social media of the product being filled and storing all their water. I think they were having some stains cleaned on the bottom of their pool and had to drain the pool to clean the floor. The first time I saw that, I said, man, that's really incredible. They can refill their pool with the same chemically treated water. The reason I wanted you to come on the show today was just talk a little bit about your product, which is a pool bladder, isn't it? Right, Jim?
That is correct. And for lack of a better term, and that's exactly what we call it, the pool bladder.
Now, can you give us a little bit of an overview of the pool bladder and its primary purpose in the pool renovation process?
Quite simply, it is a temporary water storage solution. A lot of times, we're a vinyl liner manufacturer. A lot of times our dealers are getting to pools where the water is crystal clear and fully chlorinated, and it just needs a new liner, or it could be a repaint or a plastering job, whatever the case might be. But the homeowner does not want to lose that water. And decidedly so. Water's not cheap if you get it delivered, and the chemicals are certainly not cheap. So what do you do with 20, 30,000 gallons of water? It's where are you going to put that? Some guys were buying some above ground inflatable type of pools, and God forbid that's not on level ground or something, and now you've got a flood in the backyard. So the idea was simply to save as much of the water as we could, save the homeowner some money, save the dealer some time, and get the jobs done that much quicker.
I know in some of these really water depressed areas that filling the pool is really expensive, and it's a big headache, especially if you live in like some of these southwestern markets where water is at a premium.
Really that. I mean, I live in the mountains of northern New Jersey where everybody is on a well. I have a well. I just replaced the pump a few months ago, 300 feet down. I cannot ask my well to fill a 20,000 gallon pool. There's just no way. So this could definitely be a viable option in a situation like that.
Well, you hit on one thing, which is, Kayden is primarily known for their vinyl liners. I mean, what really inspired you guys to get into the development of the pool bladder? Was there a specific problem or need that you saw in the industry that you kind of aimed to address?
Well, Jeff Kayden himself could answer this better than I could, but sort of a funny way of coming at it is, what do you do with all that scrap vinyl after cutting them off the roll, cutting the pieces off the rolls and making the liners? We have all this extra vinyl that what can we do with it? Well, we could make some temporary water storage. That's kind of how the project began, almost like a test run. We have since moved on from just pool vinyl liner material to actual solid safety cover material, which is a vinyl coated polyester. What pool dealers are going to be familiar with is about a 12-ounce weight to that. For the safety covers, we use a 22-ounce weight, so very, very sturdy. But again, I mean, going back to the real reason why is, if you're doing a vinyl liner change out, a renovation job, the thing that most pool guys are having to wait for is enough water in the hopper, fill in the hopper, enough water, like 6 inches, let's say, in the shallow end, to stretch that liner in. Now you can pull your vacs. Now you can cut out your skimmers, your returns, do all your cutouts, get paid, get on to the next job. How do we get you from getting that liner in to doing those cutouts that much quicker? We give you something to stage water with ahead of time, or to pump water out of the pool, to hold on to it so you can do 2 liner changes a day, routing permitting. So that was the real motivation, was basically in a backhanded sort of way, to sell more liners, because guys can now do more liner jobs. So it's a win-win, I guess, another win on top of all that as well.
Well, tell us, how does the pool bladder work? Can you explain the technology or the design behind it?
Yeah, certainly. So it's, for lack of a better term, a bladder. They come in a variety of sizes, anywhere from 700 gallons up to the big 3,500 gallon, 15 by 15 bladder. We weld it together, the same technology that we use for putting our liners together, RF welding, some hot air and hot surface welding. But we've created a pillow that has a fill cap on the top that can work like a burp valve to chase air out as we're filling the bladders up. And the bladder is going to be either square or rectangular. And in opposite corners of the bladder will be large 7-inch snorkels that if you want to pump water from the pool into the bladder via a quick, fast-acting trash pump, you now have a snorkel large enough to do that. Obviously, some clamps come with that, so you can close those off while you're storing the water. In a perfect world, you could stage several of these bladders around the pool on the deck. We don't all live in a perfect world, and that's always not the case. So sometimes we've got to go out on the driveway and pump water back and forth. Again, the trash pump's going to do it nice and quick. Or we got to go up on a hill. We do have a berm system where we can offset a 30-degree grade. But the perfect situation would be to just open those bladders back up, undo one of the clamps on one of the snorkels, and let gravity feed that water right back into the pool once you're done putting the liner in.
Well, let me play devil's advocate for a moment, Jim.
Sure.
I mean, it sounds like a simple procedure to me, but I mean, can this easily be carried out by a pool owner, or is this a job best left to a professional?
It is probably best left to the professional for a variety of reasons. One, we could be holding potentially 3,500 gallons of water in one bladder. That is something we need to take seriously, hence the very heavy-duty material that we make it out of. Don't want to flood anybody's basement due to a mishap. And two, they're not really priced for single-time use. This is going to be for more the pool professional who's doing liner changes, several a week. Perfect scenarios, a couple a day, to where they're paying for themselves down the road. The price tag on these things, because it is a pretty heavy duty feat of engineering that we're putting together here. Yeah, a single time use for a homeowner is really not ideal. And I currently don't know of anybody who's renting them out, but that's a possibility. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't see this as a consumer product. It sounds like there is some advantages, though, definitely for pool contractors to have this as part of their arsenal. Is like, hey, we can drain your pool and we can rent this equipment out to you for X amount of days while we do your renovations, right?
Yeah. And a savvy homeowner who is, looking at the bottom line, thinking, okay, how much is it going to cost me to get new water delivered and put new salt in it or put new chlorine in it and balance that water, as opposed to what might I pay this fellow here, that Brand X liners, whoever's doing my job, a small rental fee to save a good chunk of that water for me, and better for the environment. I'm not putting chlorine out into the world there. So it's got that it almost has an upsell value to it, to where landing more liner jobs now could possibly be a thing. And I do have one of our top dealers down in Florida lands a lot of jobs because he says, oh, by the way, I can save. I'm not going to save all your water, but I'm going to save a good chunk of it. And they just love that.
Well, give us the elevator pitch, Jim. I mean, if any pool contractors are listening, what are the main advantages or benefits of adding the pool bladder to your toolkit?
Plain and simple. You love doing one in-ground liner job a day, right? With your crew, you and one or two other guys. Sounds pretty good, right? Now imagine doubling that workload. 2 a day, quite manageably. With a pool bladder, whether you're pumping the water out, saving it, selling more liner jobs that way, or you're staging the water ahead of time when you go to cut out that liner and measure the pool with the homeowner's garden hose. Either way, that water's going in, the liner's getting stretched, the vacs are coming out, you're getting a check in your hand, and you're on your way to the next job.
Now, can you share any success stories or any kind of testimonials you've gotten from any customers who've used the pool bladder? I mean, how's it positively impacted their renovation experience and their experience with their customers?
Well, going back to it, like I said, one of my main guys down in Florida, obviously, Florida's got an all year round market, which is great. Just about every pool, I should say every pool that does have some kind of clean water in it, that is one of his upsells. And because of the volume that he does, he's able to knock out a couple liners a day with the right kind of routing. So with that, I'd have to ask him how many he's got, but he's been using them for years. The beautiful thing is, yes, wear and tear is going to take a little bit of a toll on the bladder. It's still vinyl, a little bit of vinyl adhesive and some scrap liner material, and you're back in the game. And we actually have heavy duty patches if you have something a bit more than a pinhole, let's say, to repair. But most of our dealers that really use the bladder on a regular basis will have between like maybe 4 or 5 in their arsenal and they're usually the 3,000 or 3,500 gallon variety. I think the 3,000 variety is a little bit more popular because it's a rectangle. It's a 20 by 10 footprint, which fits better around the decking of the pool. The 15 by 15 can be a little bit bigger, maybe in rural areas that's a bit more. But most of my dealers that have them, I've never had somebody bring it back and say, this just didn't work out for me the way I thought it was going to. They usually come back to me and say, so have you got any more in stock? Because I could use like 2 or 3 more. We're rocking and rolling here, and I need to get these liner jobs done. And it's not just liners. You got a plaster job. We've got, as soon as that plaster is done, we got to fill that pool lickety split. Yes, we can get water tankers in, but are they going to be able to bring, I don't know if it's a big pool, 5 tankers at once and fill that pool in one shot? Or can we only get 1 or 2, and maybe we've got to stage some water with the pool bladders and make it all happen at once? Fiberglass install, same thing. We're not running our plumbing until we've got water weight in that pool, and we're setting that pool down. It's not just vinyl liners, like you said. Somebody had a stain on the floor. Okay, we can't do that until we get the water out of the pool, and it's just a simple job. Why do I want to spend hundreds of $1,200, let's say, on water delivery just to take care of a little stain? No, we can do better than that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my listeners are going to want to know, what does one of these bladders cost? All right. You mentioned the repair kit, the patch kit. What does that cost? What's the average wear and tear on these units?
Sure. Yep. So we have 4 different models to choose from. The big 2, which are really for the pool guys, is going to be what we call a 20 long or a 10 foot by 20 foot footprint, 3,000 gallons. Weighs about 70 pounds empty, just so you're aware. One guy could carry that. 2 guys easily. That's going to run a pool dealer $800. Again, this is an item that you're going to use all season long, year after year after year. If you are charging a little bit of a rental fee or just landing more jobs because you're saving the money, it will definitely pay for itself down the road. The other large one we have is what we call a 15 square, obviously a 15 foot by 15 foot footprint. That holds 3,500 gallons, 78 pounds dry weight. That one's $835. If you're working on smaller pools or specifically hot tubs, we have a 10-foot square, which is 1,500 gallons, $630, or a 10 long, which is a 5 by 10 footprint, 700 gallons, $510 on that. There is shipping, of course, on top of that. But if you, again, knowing what you need to do with these, think about ordering a few of them. If you order 5 at once, the shipping's on us. We'll take care of that for you.
Oh, okay. Can you hit on how long they last and what the repair processes for when you get a leak or a tear?
Certainly. So a vinyl liner, in-ground grade vinyl liner, we're looking 12 to 15 years for like a 27 mil. This material it's a lot beefier than a 27 mil liner. Like I said, it's solid safety cover material, vinyl coated polyester weave, very strong. We test every one of these pool bladders before we box them up. So, liners go through an inspection process. The bladder, because again, we have a little bit of that liability factor where we're holding 3,500 gallons in one spot in somebody's backyard. God forbid something happens, a seam goes, and all that water is ending up in somebody's basement. We actually overinflate these bladders with air, knowing that air can compress where water cannot. So we can expand this above and beyond what you could possibly do with filling it with water. We spray all the seams with soapy water and check for any air leaks. Once it passes inspection, it all gets folded back up and put into the box, ready to go. But if you're dragging it across cement, it's folded, so you got a corner sticking out here. Wear and tear is going to happen. It is still vinyl coated, just like a vinyl liner. And all pool guys know, use this product or that product to repair a vinyl liner, and that repair will last as long as the liner does. Same principle. Cut yourself a nice round patch, because the rounder the better. You're not going to have corners peeling up on it. Apply your whatever brand of vinyl adhesive you're using. Do follow the instructions, because there's a few brands that actually say use it like a contact cement, where you put the adhesive on both sides and then allow it to set and then press them together with pressure. You'll get a much, much stronger grasp that way. If you get the kit from us, I think it's about a $24 kit. It comes with a small bottle of HH66 brand, which is what we prefer to use. And so I think almost 2 dozen pre-punched They might be about a 2-inch or 3-inch round patch that is made out of the same material as the bladder itself, the polyester weave with the vinyl coating on each side. But I've got guys who patch these things out in the field. And I mean, we're looking back, the product's been on the market for over a decade now. I know I've got dealers out there that are still using some of the original ones, some of our firstest. So with the right kind of staying on top of the maintenance with the wear and tear, addressing pinholes here or there, I usually recommend running some chlorinated water through them at the end of the season and letting them air out a bit before storing them for the winter, just so they don't, I mean, they get wet. You don't want them to get nasty. A little bit of maintenance goes a long way, and you could easily get over a decade out of these things. Like I said, a 20-foot, a 10 by 20 weighing 70 pounds, that's some pretty heavy duty material right there.
What is your guys' vision for the future of Kayden manufacturing as far as having the pool bladder in your lineup? I mean, do you see that product evolving and impacting the industry in the long run?
I have been here for 4 years as the director of sales, just over 4 years now. Prior to that, I was a Kayden dealer for almost a decade when I was running service and renovation. I remember when this product was first brought in, when Jeff was telling me about it. And I found it, the idea fascinating. It was a different looking product back then before we went with the product we have now. But the idea was almost to keep obviously we're a pool business. We're seasonal. What do we do in the wintertime? We weren't making safety covers back then like we are now. What do we do with our employees? Well, let's keep them busy. Let's get them making these things and stocking them up, and then hope that we can sell them, late winter, early spring for the startup. It has gotten to a point to where this has piqued some interest in the industry, and the orders are coming in. It's not going to replace liners. It's not going to replace safety covers as far as our manufacturing output is concerned. But it is certainly something that we didn't expect to be making perhaps this many of. So it feels like a little bit of success. Like, hey, we nailed that one. That's pretty cool. So and people ask, can you make them bigger? Could you do one that holds 6,000 gallons? Well, yes, we could. But again, going back to that reasonable liability sort of issue, I don't think we want to put that much water into something temporary in somebody's backyard, because God forbid you drop your awl or your hammer or your screwdriver, and now you've got this thing just gushing water into their basement or their neighbor's basement or whatever the case might be. But I don't know. I mean, the future's wide open. I'm just happy to see that it's catching up, and people are happy with the product, and they keep coming back for more.
Well, we got a lot of people that, they're larger contractors or they're retailers. They may be listening. Are you guys taking on distributors for this product?
We have talked to a couple distributors about getting in, obviously distributor level pricing, getting the product in there. Nobody has jumped on it yet, but perhaps as more and more interest comes about, or dealers walk into their distributors and say, hey, do you guys carry the Kayden pool bladder? They might take note and say, well, maybe we should do that. There's a couple local distributors I've spoken to. Like I said, I've got some offers on the table that I'm giving to them, and just waiting for them to bite onto this.
Thanks so much for checking in with us, Jim. I mean, I had a lot of interest about your product when I saw it at one of the trade shows, so I appreciate you jumping on the call with us to give us a little education about what it's all about.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, that's all the time we have left for today. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow, and we'll catch you next time on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast.
Today's podcast is sponsored by Genesis, the most comprehensive and complete education for pool professionals. The Genesis career pathway for pool builders and design professionals puts your team on the right track to become masters of their trade.